Welcome back to the show. Well, we always try to give you valuable tips to help improve the quality of your life. And if you're a property owner, you've had to deal with pests on one level or another, and you know how devastating it could be. So we brought in our expert, Corky Mizer, the owner of Corky's Pest Control, to tell us all about termites, right?
Right.
Jeez, I'm telling you, this worries me because they can eat an entire home if they go untreated, right?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what they do, is eat.
Unbelievable. What kind of termites do we have here in San Diego?
Well, we have both with damp wood, dry wood, subterranean. Actually, the dry wood are the ones that give the people most problems. The subs are easy, but the dry woods are the ones you have to tent the house for, usually.
Yeah.
Until this new stuff came out, now you don't have to do that anymore.
Okay, well, first let's look at these termites because they're disgusting. And by the way, folks, if you don't have termites now, I bought a wicker basket at a very well-known retail store. I brought it home, and there were like shelves with those wicker baskets that go into the shelves, and they were infested with termites. Who would have thought they came from another country and I'm bringing them home to my house? And by the way, I called your company and the guys were so awesome, and I'm always afraid to have strange men in my house because I'm there with my daughters. They were so respectable, so of good character, by the way, very professional. I felt very safe. And they not only took care of the baskets, they did a whole perimeter and interior investigation to see if it had spread into my walls or other parts of my house.
Which happens.
It did, but thankfully I caught it on time. Thankfully I called you right away, or your
I
company.
love it.
Okay, show us what we're dealing with.
Well, these drywood termites, these are the drywood termites up here, and this is the kind of frass that they put out, which is what you usually see before you see the termites.
That's what I saw, and
Yes.
I thought it was just remnants from the basket. And that whatever that is, what is that called?
Called frass.
Is that
It's
excrement?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, no!
That's exactly what it is.
It isn't. I was like, piles were building up. I'm like, oh, that's just part of the wicker basket.
Well, the truth is that they have these incredibly pressurized little belts in their anus. You know what that is, right? That actually they squeeze all of the water out of the wood, and that's the reason why a drywood termite doesn't have to go back to the soil every 24 hours like a sub, because they get enough water out of that wood to survive.
That is bizarre.
Isn't that bizarre?
Wood that is not even living, right? Like, it's crazy that they can.
Besides that, who would want to drink the water from there, right?
No, right. I'm like so sad right now because I think I used my hands to clean up that mess.
Well, it's only just the wood.
Yeah.
And then this is the kind of damage that the drywood termites do.
Yeah, look at that. And they look like, I found stuff like that in the baskets where like little pitted.
Oh, I know, it's true.
Unbelievable. They're like almost microscopic and they cause so much damage.
Yeah. Well, they start off.
Show us which one it is too, because look how small
this is the dry wood here, and then there's a damp wood, and then there's the
Look how little that is. If you could see my finger, so which one is the dry wood?
Right here.
If you see, relative to my finger, and I don't have gigantor fingers, by the way.
She doesn't.
I can't believe that they can do so much damage. It's so irritating. Okay, so that's a problem here in San Diego. And before, you would see all those giant tents, and the families had to move out, and it was very costly. It's an eyesore to the neighborhood, and it's just worrisome.
Expensive for the person to move out and take care of their pets and do everything. Well, sometimes that's still the best way to do it. It's certainly foolproof, and so we still sell the fumigations. What we can do now, though, is give a homeowner or a property owner the choice of which they want to do. And this new gadget that's out is absolutely incredible, and that is, it's like the policeman that points the radar at you and tells you how fast you're going.
Yeah.
And this is miniaturized and changed just a little bit, but you hold this up against the wood and it'll show any movement that's inside the wood. And of course, if it's inside the wood, termites is what it's going to be.
It goes through the wood, and it's like almost like an X-ray or a sonogram, almost like what's bizarre. Because sonogram shows movement.
Well, and the radar shows movement too.
Yeah.
And so that's what it does, and then it shows up on this little piece of equipment here, so you can put it up.
This looks like a cell phone.
Well, yeah, it does, doesn't it? In fact, it's very much like a cell phone. In fact, it's been turned on and off and probably gone back off again. But what you see on here is the little graph that shows how much movement you have. So when you move this around, you can find the major part of the termite colony, and that way you can drill a hole in and control it.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing that's crazy about it is most things they want to say that this is going to kill the termites in the wall. It's been very successful. This finds them, and that's what this is for.
And you could see where their nests are, and that's what you go after?
You can see where the major movement is, and that way you can get right into the main gallery to get to the queen and everything that's in that gallery. When a termite colony starts out the first year, likely as not, the colony is not going to be any bigger than my fist. As it goes along year to year, it's going to grow and grow and grow, and then they get to be a lot of colony occupants. And then they start putting out this frass after about the third year. You start seeing the frass, and then they get so many in there that they want to, bud out and go find another colony. And so the new queens and what's called the alates, they move out and then they find another place.
Is it usually another house in the same neighborhood?
Most of the time, it's your own house, and
just another part of the house.
Just another part of the house and just another colony. So when you find these going back into an inaccessible area, in other words, a lot of termites, they only come into one little area, so it's easy to find them and control them. But if they've been there quite a while and you haven't really kept up on the maintenance and done it when you find them, then they go back into some inaccessible area. Then you could have lots of colonies back there. And
well, they need to be paying rent.
Well, the biggest reason...
if you're going to live in my house, you're going to pay some rent.
Well,
Especially if you're going to destroy the property.
The reason that I didn't like most of the other things that have been out there is that when they go back into an inaccessible area, there's no way to see them.
Yeah.
And I know people said, well, we can put this little scope back in and look for them, but you have little fire breaks in all of the walls, and so you'd have to drill a hole here and here and here, and pretty soon you'd have a pegboard as a wall. Where this actually sees if there's any colonies back in that inaccessible area, and then you have to figure out how to control them. Most of the time you can drill a hole right to where they are, but sometimes you have something that you can't drill through.
Like a cancer, a termite cancer.
Oh,
it spreads everywhere.
Certainly what they are, absolutely.
Okay, so you hear like different companies offering like green ways to kill the termites. Is that effective?
Well, of course, there's one on the market that claims, but when you look at the research, you find that it doesn't do that good a job, number one. The products that we use are so low in toxicity, and we put it back in the wood and put it so it's back in the wood. But it's like, it's way, 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 way less than what an aspirin is. Okay?
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
So it's ridiculous.
All right.
So, but the other problem is that the other claims that people make on it, I could never do. I've got the products and everything. I could do it if I knew it worked, but I never felt that it was successful, because if you can't see the termites, the only thing that you can do is fumigate, and that's the most foolproof way. But now when people can't move out, or let's say that you have a condo for sale and you want to sell this condo, and then you've got termites bad enough to where you have to actually fumigate it, now you can control the termites in that particular condo without your neighbor caring. And so this is a really incredible piece of equipment. Still, the foolproof way is to fumigate if you have the ability to do it. And in the end, unless you just have a few termites here and there, fumigation is a little bit cheaper.
And talk about structural damage if you don't take care of it. So as a homeowner or property owner, whether you own complexes, offices, whatever, how often should we get our structures inspected?
Well, every couple of years you need to at least have it done. I know the famous thing is every 3 years, but we have a termite preventative service that we come and actually do, and we come every 2 years to actually look at it, make sure that they're not going any place. But we come 4 times a year and actually do a preventative service.
I think it's really important.
Otherwise you end up like that.
Yeah, I know. And then to repair that, you don't even want to get into those costs. You've been in this industry for almost 50 years.
I know. It's how old I am.
I know. You look good.
Yeah,
almost
I'm
50 years. So that's why we wanted you on the show. If there's anybody who's an expert in San Diego County in Southern California, it's you. And you have that trusted name. Everyone knows your company. But I have to ask, How did you get into this business? Were you bugged by bugs?
You know, I grew up on a farm in Michigan, and what I was doing is I was playing poker on Friday nights with a bunch of people that were in the pest control business. And they would tell me, this is the bug that I've been running into, and this is what we're doing. And I'd say, no, that's not what you ought to do. This is the way it works. And they'd say, no. So I'd have to go upstairs and get my books and come down, because growing up on a farm, you have all the, the encyclopedias and everything. And so I'd show them and they'd say, wow. Then they realized after a while, they said, you know more about bugs than we do. Why don't you go get your license? And I thought, okay, but I was working for General Motors at the time in supervision, and I was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they made me wear a tie every day. And I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I wouldn't have to wear a tie every day.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
You get to be your own boss.
Yeah, so I went down and I got my license and was walking around working for General Motors with this license in my hand and said, okay, bye, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go out and do landscapes and houses for bugs.
And let me tell you, he is a success story.
Thank you.
You are killing it and killing bugs at the same time. You gotta love it.
I actually do. You know that people tell me all the time, why don't you retire?
Yeah. Why? And that's another question. Your company's doing well enough. You've got the reputation. You have pride in your work. People trust you because why? You guarantee the work. It's done. Why don't you retire? I don't get it.
I love what I do. Because I practice what's called IPM, which is Integrated Pest Management. I try really hard not to kill anything that I don't have to. So when I come to somebody's place, I know that my whole thing is to find out why the insects are there and then change the environment so that they're not going to be there.
They don't want to come back there.
So I use a lot of botanical insecticides that are, mainly edible type of botanicals that kill bugs. A lot of wintergreen and a lot of, stuff that's mixed together. And I love doing that. And I like changing something, making a place healthier when, people are living there. And, usually if they're on our service for a year, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You really can.
Well, I had another issue, and my house is clean, very clean. We'll talk about that the next time you come on. So in my segments, I like to bring in some personal experiences as well, and I appreciate you making the time for our show.
I love it.
I love you, and you educate the viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh wait, before we go, you have a $500 giveaway, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
Well, they come to my website and they sign up for it. They don't have to buy a single thing. And then every month we pick out a number of the person and we give them $500.
Yeah, just for watching.
Well, you know what happens is it actually brings more people to my website, which raises the value of it with Google and all of those. Yeah. And so we give $500 a month away, and all a person has to do is, they can come every day if they want to, just not within 24 hours, and put it in again.
Remind me, I'll get on that after the show.
Get your kids on it. Tell them they can.
You don't think I won't? Oh, thank you so much,
Thank you very
Corky.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Coming up.
So these images are now burned in their minds, and they dream about it. They think about it all the time, and that can be dangerous.